What's up, guys? We're coming back at you with another video. Got my little man out here with me today. We're basically going to get back down into it on the old 79 F350 736 speed swap. We got to finish her up. The guy's going to be here March 7th, 2 weeks from now. And it's pretty much just the little tedious stuff, getting the whites wired in, getting the filler neck on, hooked up, got to plate the frame, and just button this thing up. So we're gonna get right down into it, and I'm gonna show you guys how simple it is to get these taillights wired in, and the headlights and blinkers and everything. It's pretty much all already here. But yeah, check this out. So on the Super Duty wiring harness for the bed itself, you got these flat prong light sockets. These themselves snap right into the 70s taillight and twist in just like that. So what we're basically going to do, we're going to have to change the socket for the reverse light. That way we can get a reverse light in there, or I might just stick it in there like that, honestly. Now we'll change the socket. That way we can run a bigger bulb on the reverse light. But anyways, what we're basically going to do is take the dent side tail light harness completely out of the bed, and we're going to implant the Super Duty tail light harness into this bed. That way we can plug it straight up to the frame rail harness, and then we can plug it up to our license plate lights, the harness for the license plate lights, and run it just like a Super Duty, but make it look like a 79. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to set you guys up on time lapse. We're going to pitter patter and get at her. Let's go. All right, guys, we got our tail light harness in there. I'm not gonna put the tail lights themselves in until I get some bulbs, and then we gotta swap these pigtails around on the reverse lights. But I'm gonna jump back into the interior now, and I wanted to show you guys what I was gonna do to add some extra mounting points to this dash inside of the dent side cab here. So the way that these dashes mount up in a Super Duty is you have 3 screws across the top. This one actually goes to the metal dash frame. This one over here just screws in the plastic, and that one over there is just plastic as well. So the actual steel dash frame only bolts up under here, right over here by the fuel pedal, the gas pedal, and then right on that side for the actual steel dash frame mounts. And in the Super Duty, they have ears that come off of the dash frame, and they bolt into the door jambs over here. But we lopped those ears off whenever we were cutting everything and fitting the cab over, if you guys remember. So what I'm gonna do here is I found some factory holes in the Super Duty dash frame. You can see one of them right back there on the bottom. I marked that hole with a marker. This over here, this side, is going to mount directly on the bottom. I got that tapped over. It's gonna sit against the door jamb just like that. So that'll hold this side up, because this side doesn't really have a steel structure frame mount on this whole side of the dash. So this side's a little floppy. So we'll get that stuck up there, put one in that side, get one in that side over there. She's gonna be mint. And I'm gonna pull the dash back out, lay the dash back forward, and we're gonna drill a hole into the door jamb, and then we're gonna slide in these handy dandy threaded rivets and punch these into the door jamb, and then we can run bolts through those factory holes on the Super Duty dash frame and bolt them into the dent side door jamb using these bad boys. So that's what I'm going to do for that. And while I have the dash forward, I'm going to go ahead and blow all the grinder dust and welder dust out from the inside, and lay some sound deadener on the cowl, and then go from the cowl to the Super Duty firewall, that portion there in between where those two meet. Lay a bunch of sound deadener in there, get all that sealed off and sound deadened up, and then lay the dash back up for good, pretty much. That worked out pretty simple. This is going to work out pretty simple as far as the extra mounting points to add some structure to the dash frame. So I'm going to lay this dash forward, drill some holes, and pop some rivets in, and we're going to get this dash stuck up back up here, put the seats in, put the shift tower back on, move on to the next thing. Let's freaking go. All right, boys and girls, so I'm just standing here currently soaking up some sunshine, trying to soak all this good weather in that I can until it decides to throw some crappy weather back at us again. But what I'm going to go ahead and do now is step up here to the front clip. We're going to pop this hood open, and we're going to drill and tap our square tubing to mount our fenders, and then start making some brackets for our hood shocks and the one little bracket that we have to make for the starter solenoid over there. But we got to have the holes drilled and tapped for bolts in order to mount our brackets on first. So drill and tapping comes first. I'll set you guys up on the time lapse, and we're gonna get down to it. Let's freaking go. All right, guys, we got our holes drilled in our fenders and our square tubing. All that's tapped, bolted up. So, oh, and I also worked on the, I plasma cut a hole out on the firewall for our wiper harness to go through. And I had to clean that up and get it to where the factory Super Duty rubber bushing type dealio that's on the wiring harness, to where it would clip into there. And I got all that done and painted up and everything, and the firewall looks freaking mint. Check this out. Check that out. Goes through there like factory. Skadoosh. So now I'm gonna step to the interior around in here. And there's a lot of zip ties and random wiring and alligator clips and all sorts of stuff in here. So I'm going to try to go through all this and clean up all this random wiring and get all that looking presentable, and then we're going to put the interior back together. Let's go. All right, I've got all that cleaned up out of the bottom of the dash, but as you can see, it runs through the firewall right there. And here's all the mess that we got. Here's all the mess of crap that we got out of the dash, but it feeds into the engine bay right here. So all of this crap needs to come out now and get out of the way. There's a bunch of jerry-rigged wiring, but we're gonna get it. Let's freaking go. All right, guys, so I've been messing around with the old truck here. Got a few more things done. But what I'm tinkering with right now is windshield washer fluid. So So we still have our little fittings on the firewall right up here that we can hook our washer fluid lines up to from the Super Duty. So one of the things that I'm running into is that the Super Duty lines are a little bit bigger in diameter than what these little nipples are. Like, you can stick it on here, this slides right on, and it's got slop, like it's obviously going to leak right there. So we need something with a smaller diameter. Well, I got to looking around and I got to thinking, these vacuum line rubber fittings would just be about the right size. The vacuum lines themselves are about the same size as that little nipple. So I went out to a spare cab that I have out in the parking lot, right out there in front of that four-wheeler, and I pulled some vacuum line fitting nipple things off. We got this one. So what I'm going to do is pop these off and use these to adapt it. Let's go. All right, I got them popped off the vacuum line. Now we're just going to slide them up on here. Just like that. Now this should clip right up into there. Just like that. Look at that. That's sick. Now this one will run over there and put this one on it. I don't know if we're gonna have enough hose on that. Nope, we don't have enough hose, so we're gonna have to find some other pieces to stretch it. All right, guys, we got us a piece to stretch that line up. That's all hooked up now. So we made us a trip to Napa and got us some hood shocks. But if you guys were watching on Tina, whenever I did Tina, my old 6.0 swap, I used 6.0 Power Stroke hood shocks, and I got those from Napa as well. They're like heavy duty, extra compression hood shocks. Anyways, I got them from Napa, and on Tina, they work decent. They work better whenever the engine's warmed up and like the heat in the engine bay is warmed up and heats the shocks up. They work better, but whenever they're cold, they're a little spongy. Like, they don't really hold it up that great. So for this truck, I got 6.7 Power Stroke hood shocks, which is from like 2011 to 2016. The shocks themselves are significantly longer. But if you guys remember in the previous, I don't remember if it was part 5 or 6, but we made a trip to the salvage yard and we got these little hood shock nubs off of some trucks back there, out there at the salvage yard. So we need to be able to use these on the hood shock, and it works on the bottom side. They'll snap in, but on the top, that one's a little different. It takes a smaller nub, basically, is what the top takes. So we're just going to swap the nub out. See if I can do this one-handed by basically just twisting it right off the shock housing. Here, let me hold it with this hand a little bit. This is very awkward. Just like that. And then we can take one of these bad boys, stick it on there, and thread it on. And that gives us the correct shock nub clip on both ends. What we're fixing to do is make our angle iron brackets to bolt up to the fender right here, and then it's going to angle up and have our hood shock nub on it, and our hood shock's going to go right there. And then so our hood shock will bolt up to our angle iron bracket right there, and then it's going to come up here and bolt into the pinch weld of the hood itself, just like that, and it'll sit right up in there just like that. So that's the plan. It keeps it up out of the way, keeps the hood held, and then it's clean. So I'm gonna set you guys up on time lapse, and I'm gonna start making these brackets to get these hood shocks on, and then we're gonna move on to making the hood latch plate. So pitter patter, let's get at her. boys and girls. So as you've seen, or might have seen in the time lapse, these shocks don't work. I don't have a clue why they wouldn't, because they're like pretty heavy duty poundage hood shocks for a 6.7 power stroke, and they're freaking long, like way long, way longer than Tina's, and they don't hold the hood up. So I'm gonna have to take a trip back to Napa, return those shocks, and get some of these shocks. These are 2006 F350 heavy duty hood shocks for a 6.0 power stroke, and they're mounted identically. So like, don't tell me my angles are off and that's why the shocks won't work, because these are smaller shocks and they hold this hood up. So what the heck? So I gotta make another trip to town. Yay. Let's go. All right, guys, my phone's on 4%, so it's about to die, but we got her shocked. Went to Napa and got the 06 Super Duty heavy duty hood shocks, OBS hood hinges. She's mint. Now our next order of business is gonna be to make a hood latch plate. So I'm gonna go charge my phone first, and then once I get it charged up enough, we'll come in, make us a hood latch plate, and get this hood done. Let's go. All right, I want to show you guys how the wiring lays out on these things, because they're practically identical. Like if you think about a dent side and you think about a Super Duty, the Super Duty has the main headlight bulb on the top, it has the blinker on the bottom, and then it has an LED side marker on the side of the housing. It's just a lot smaller, condensed version than what this is. So we have our side marker lights right here that are the Super Duty side markers. I just pulled the wiring harness up from the core support a little bit farther, got some slack in it to get it out here to our side marker lens, and that just slaps right in there, just like that. They match right up. There's a little bit of trimming that has to be done on the back side of this one to get this one to slide in, but that one, the lower bottom one, should work just fine. Now these right here, on the other hand, the actual headlights themselves run a different plug. So what we're gonna do is pop this bulb off of this plug, just like that. You can see we got a different prong set up between the two. But that spare cab outside that I pulled the wiper fluid hoses and stuff off of, that spare cab was a factory XL truck, and the factory XL Super Duties came with the 7-inch square glass halogen headlights in them. So I went out there to that truck and I cut the headlight plug pigtails off to come in and wire into this one. And now I got to remember what I did with them, because I know I cut them off yesterday, but there they are. Here's one of them anyways, right there. So that's the plug that we need on that sucker. And it's basically just as simple as, now it is just as simple as color coordinating, because we took them both off of Super Duty. So the wires are all going to be color coordinated. Anyways, I'm gonna get these lights slapped in here and then see what else is on my list. We need to make a hood latch plate still, and put the fuel filler neck on, and put the interior back together. So we'll probably finish this and then jump to the interior, put it back together. Trying to do some easier things today because I just don't really feel like doing a whole lot, honestly, if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna get these done, then we're gonna jump in the interior, put the seats back in, and get all that button back up and cleaned up. Let's go. All right, guys, we got very little time to finish this thing up. Guys coming Friday, and it's Wednesday evening right now. So I'm probably just gonna set you guys up on time lapse and blow through the rest of the stuff that we need to get done. Then you guys can see the finished product. I'm gonna go ahead and start making our hood latch plate. I got that bracket out of the way that went to the top of the grill shroud. We're gonna make our hood latch plate 7 inches wide. It's gonna bolt 4 bolts into the top of the Super Duty core support, and then come out here and have the 79 hood latch on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that, and then I think I'm gonna resituate the truck on the lift. I'm gonna get it up in the air, get our fish plates welded on the frame, plate the frame, and then it's really just little nitpicky stuff after that, but we're pretty much just gonna time lapse all of it. So without further ado, pitter patter, let's get at her. All right, guys, we got us a hood latch plate. She functions, does everything she's supposed to do. Get our light out of the way here. Get our hood, just like that. Now, we did make a little problem. That's just the center of the hood. Got to bend that pinch weld up a little bit, but got a little problem, a little bit of setback. I was drilling these holes for these bolts right here, and we got into the intercooler right there. So I gotta go outside and get an intercooler. Luckily, I have one, so it won't be a big issue, just an inconvenience. But all we gotta do to replace that is basically take these brackets loose off the top of the core support. We're gonna take these bolts, this one, these two, the AC condenser bolt brackets, take those off, and then there's 2 bolts on this side, 2 bolts on that side on both sides, and then our intercooler brackets, or our intercooler bolts right there. Take them off, and then we'll lift the top half of the core support up and out of there and out of the way. Disconnect our charge tube hoses down there, and right down here. We'll pick this intercooler up out of here and put in a solid, good replacement, and make sure that our studs don't hit it or anything like that. But yeah, that was an oopsie mistake. Chalk that one up on a board. Crap. All right, let's go. All right, boys, just like that, we got our intercooler out. So I already went over to the apartment and grabbed the new intercooler, the good one that I had, just so happened to have laying around, you know. Went ahead and grabbed it, so I'm gonna go ahead and slap it back in there, but we're not time-lapsing anything because my phone's on like 10%, so I'm just gonna slap it in there and move on to the next thing. Let's go. All right, boys and girls, got her all back together. She is working mint. Ah, come on. There we go. Working mint, got her intercooler back in there. We're ready to pretty much clean this thing up and pick her up in the air. So we get all this disaster of a mess all cleaned up and get the tires free to roll back in the lift. And we're gonna get this thing thrown up in the air and get this frame plated. Let's freaking go. All right, males and females, we got our plates. 10 inches long, 6 inches wide, rounded ends. Set those right up there, put the weld seam directly in the center. Burn her in, boys. We're gonna get her lifted up, clean the insides of the frame rails out, get these things stuck up in there. Let's go. All right, boys and girls, got her all welded up. Got the plates burnt in down there. Our next order of business is gonna be to grind and slick out our welds on the outsides of the frame rails. But right now, I gotta go on a little mini road trip, about an hour and a half away, and go pick up the drive shaft for this thing. We had a custom one built by Dirty Bird Drive Shafts in Lonedale, Missouri. Dude's amazing at what he does, honestly. And it's top-notch quality. So we're gonna get this drive shaft real quick, come back and get her slapped in here. Let's go. All right, guys, we're freaking moving right along. All right, I went ahead and did some other stuff because my phone's getting pretty low on percentage. We're at like 4% right now, so I'm trying to just blow through stuff. Not really filming much because the guy's gonna be here at 8 a.m. and right now it's like 11 o'clock at night, I think. And there's still just a few more things that I want to button up, but we got our frame rails slicked out right in there, just like that. And as you can see, we got an e-brake cable. I shortened that sucker. Still had my, why did my light turn off? Huh. I shortened that sucker. Still had the holes in the cab mount to go through that. And then I just cut 4 inches off of it and welded a nut on the end of it. Put it back in that bracket right there. We got our drive shaft in underneath there. And right now I am messing with the fuel filler neck. And as you can see, I have cut the top half of the dent side filler neck off and welded it on top of the Super Duty. And it's gonna sit up in there just like that and use the dent side fuel cap. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done. And the next thing that I really need to do is get the rear bumper on. Everything else is buttoned up and ready to go. So, all right, guys, we got a cliff here. It finally showed up for the old 736 speed swap. I was up until about midnight last night working on this thing, and the last thing you guys seen was the fuel filler neck. I ended up getting that sucker slapped up in there. It's done. The only thing I didn't get to do was the rear bumper, and that's because it's practically folded. The sides are too far in. The sides of the bumper hit the bed before the center of the bumper gets even anywhere close to it. But she's pretty much freaking complete. Like, I gotta wire in the tail lights real quick and get the side marker lights working. But she's about to freaking get loaded up and head back off to Wyoming. And it's bittersweet. I poured a lot of I've poured a lot of passion into this truck, and I've enjoyed building it so much. And now it's just getting barely done by the nick of time. I ain't even got to play with it. But we got old Tina up here, jump starting it, getting it charged up so we can get the taillights wired in. But check out the differences and how, like, the progression between these two trucks. Because we built Tina first, you guys know that. But check this out. All right, so we got old Tina up here. I mean, this is all pretty much identical. I didn't spend as much time on my hood shock brackets on Tina here as I did on that one over there. But the big difference is the firewall panel, because I cut all that out on this one, thinking that I had to make room for the Super Duty stuff to fit up in there. In all reality, all we had to do was just leave it there and take our time with it. Like, the firewall itself is a massive difference between these two. But everything else is pretty much the same. Like, I got my little angle iron bracket here that I made last night for the starter solenoid. We got our little angle iron brackets for our hood shocks, which is practically the same thing. I just cleaned these up a little bit better. Freaking sick. All right. I guess I'm gonna wire in some taillights and we're gonna see if this 073 is gonna start. Let's go. Sucker fired right up. What do you think about that?
Real nice, Clark.
Are you happy with it?
Oh yeah, it's awesome, man.
Hell yeah. I love this thing, dude. I've had a heck of a time building it. I tried to think about pretty much everything. We need to get some air in that tire right there. She's running mint. Get these jumper cables unhooked. Skadoosh. Just like that, that's what we like to see. Look at that. This is just cool right here. I built these. I love this. Hopefully the stars align and everything works out. We'll have another one of these to do real soon here. Like real soon. Hopefully within the next week, if he can get everything worked out. But I'm not going to give you guys any details until I know for sure that he's coming or he's here. All right, I need to go wire them taillights in, and then I think we're going to take this thing for a drive. Let's go. All right, guys, we made her to the station, and the old truck's a ripper. Freaking sick. Tight as could be. We did have a small issue though. Two small issues. Our filler neck leaks a little bit, so we need to seal that up, and my adaption idea for the e-brake cable broke, so gotta figure something out with that. But she made it to the gas station with minor issues. Freaking sick. What do you think, man?
Freaking stoked. Can't wait to get in it. Let's go for a ride.
Hop in it, let's go. Oh. Battery's charged all the way up. Oh yeah, it's good. Mint.
Little 6 over.
Running the file loader, dude.
Yep.
Oh man, it's so cool to see this truck finally moving, dude. It's thing. I started it like, when did I start it? Like the first week of January. Whenever I actually pulled it in and started cutting shit apart. From the time that I put the dent side bed on the Super Duty frame and then had the dent side cab over the top of the Super Duty, I never pulled it back out. It's sat in my shop since then. I just went through and did everything before ever pulling it out or messing with it or playing around or anything like that. So this is the first time it's ran as a dent side 7.3 power stroke. It's doing all right. Oh yeah. I wonder what you could do, what we could do to get that e-brake working back up.
Probably just gonna have to get some cable there, work on a little bit of that.
And I probably
think get welded on that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not back to what?
Yeah. You're a daily driver?
Yeah. I think I've got a little too much patina on here though. I think I might have to put some freaking paint on it.
Oh!
Yeah, she's getting pretty rusty, bud.
It ain't that bad, mine's worse.
Yours looks good though. This yellow driver stuff, man, I don't know where that came from, but looks like it's an old taxi cab.
This is awesome. The way that I've just been able to like get lost in the work on this thing, it's like I haven't hated one bit of it. Like I just went into the shop and just did my thing.
Well, I just took the extra time to make things right, man.
Well, like this truck made me enjoy my job. I'm depressed it's going back to Wyoming.
You should find me a crew cab to come visit us someday.
Yeah.
Pump site.
My next build's gonna be a Bronco.
A diesel or?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of research and stuff, looking around. Did you know that they made a V6 Power Stroke?
No.
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna say anything about it on the channel, but in 2005 to like 2010. Ford made a commercial cabover truck called an LCF, and it had a 4.5 liter V6 Power Stroke in it, which is it's a 6.0 Power Stroke. Like the injectors, the head studs, like all of the little parts like that, like the high pressure oil pump, sensors and stuff like that, all of that swapped over between the two motors. Basically a 6.0 Power Stroke with 2 cylinders. Like, you know, the 12 valve Cummins and the 4BT Cummins?
Yep.
The 4BT is just a slimmed down version of the 12 valve. That's what this 4.5 liter is to a 6.0.
Okay.
Like, it's just a slimmed down version of a 6.0.
Found one yet?
I have. And I'm supposed to go pick it up tomorrow.
Awesome.
So it's like a full, complete cab over truck that doesn't run. I think it's like a crank no start or something like that, but I'm getting it for a steal, and I'll be able to bring it back here and assess the issue and get it fixed up and running.
That is about ranch town.
Dang it. But I'm really wanting to put one of those 6-cylinder Power Strokes in a Bronco and then play around with tuning and everything.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. That truck there, it ain't going anywhere, but I think after building this truck, I think I'm gonna tear it apart. I'm gonna tear it back apart.
Don't do it, go get another one.
Oh, you're happy with it?
awesome.
You gonna load it up on the trailer and take it away from me?
Absolutely.
Heck yeah, dude. I appreciate you letting me build it.
Appreciate you building that. Good job.
Thank you.
Excited to drive it.
Thank you. It's been a freaking... I want to say it like that because it sounds like I'm not really being serious, but it's been a time. A good time.
Good.
I've enjoyed myself a lot building this thing. It's turned out freaking killer, dude. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Nothing but fun stuff now, huh?
Yep.
Thanks.
Throw her up on the trailer and take her away. All right, guys. That's going to end this video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share it with a friend. Let's keep this channel growing. If you guys want a build quote, message me on my Facebook page, Wolf Mountain Customs LLC. See what we can throw together. But I appreciate all the love and support on Cliff's build here. 736 speed, 79 f350, super duty body swap. It's been a heck of a time. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.